When you're going through a hard time and someone says, find joy in the journey, do you sometimes just want to blow a raspberry at that person? I've put together 5 scrumptious ways to find joy in life's journey, no matter what you may be going through. So stay tuned. What do you do when your dreams feel unreachable, your reality feels close to unbearable, and no matter how hard you work to shake things up, no matter how much time and effort you put into changing your life, you still feel deeply, painfully, and hopelessly stuck? What you need is alchemy. What is alchemy? Well, it's a process that changes or transforms something in a magical way. You can discover how to create this very practical form of magic in your own life, shifting your energy in a way that dissolves the obstacles in your path to literally bring success to you. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi, and I'm a best-selling author. Knowing how to unlock this hidden power, how to take back your resilience so you can just move forward, is the battle cry of anyone who's been through one of life's crushing setbacks. Luckily, unlocking your hidden power is easier than it might seem. I have something that I think you'll enjoy, and you can get started with this very practical form of magic right here, right now. Okay, let me jump off the screen here so I can see my laptop. Today, we're talking about finding joy in the journey. You know, life brings us big obstacles and smaller obstacles. The big ones might include bankruptcy, uncertainty after divorce, and sometimes career issues that bury us and don't seem to resolve. Our hearts get beat up, our souls become battered. And yet there's always somebody who wants to tell us to find joy in our journey. And we want to roll our eyes and say, ick, another Pollyanna that wants to tell me to just think positive. That being said, if we can find a way to find some joy, those big obstacles won't take such a toll on us because even the biggest trees may one day fall. When we talk about finding joy in the journey, we're really saying that joy isn't something we acquire, it's something we tune into. It's a frequency. And it's the same when we're looking for success on our journey. It isn't something to be acquired, it's something we tune into. So today, I'm going to share 5 scrumptious ways to do just that. If you aren't getting the success you want in full abundance, however you identify with success, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self, instead of the lower ego thinking that pushes desires away, then this episode is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking and align with our soul's path instead. Today's episode is for you if you wonder, if we're supposed to find joy in the journey, why do we have so many blasted struggles? The dumbest way we derail ourselves, and if free will real, or is it just an illusion designed to throw us out of joy? Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy, because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck, it's our energy that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of a hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of the situation. It's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can watch our manifestations materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those higher energy thought patterns can change the course of our journey. You know, life brings us big obstacles and smaller obstacles, and the big ones might include divorce, death, career changes, and certain traumas where our hearts get battered and our souls get shattered. Choosing joy is a choice, but it can feel like a difficult choice when we're swimming in some of life's unpleasant circumstances. But the choices could be as simple as hate less and love more, complain less and laugh more, worry less, and encourage more. We always have a choice. It's easy to get frustrated in the everyday events because, let's face it, life doesn't always go our way. But if we're feeling bored or insignificant or defeated, then those negative emotions and energies are signaling that it's time for a change. It's never too late to make a change, to just start over again, to hit the reset button. It's never too late to refocus our energies and to get a grip on what brings us our passion and purpose. And this brings me to the first of my 5 scrumptious ways to find joy in our journey. If you're feeling a little bit of a struggle these days, then listen up, because here's number 1. Focus on what your intuition tells you, not on what the world throws at you. Now, I've led on to this little secret before, and that is, for a long time, I didn't feel like I had any intuition at all. And many of you tell me the same thing, that it's missing or just never been well developed, or that ego thinking screams too loudly to hear it. And yet, after a situation is finally over, we often look back and say, I knew that was going to happen. But intuition and hindsight aren't the same thing. Our intuition tends to look forward, to guide us. It's our ego thinking that looks in the rearview mirror. So when it's time to find a little joy in the journey, I find it helpful to reconnect with our passions and purpose, to take stock in where we are now, and to perhaps do a little dreaming of where we want to go next. And one phrase that I often use is, when life is ideal, I am, and then fill in the blank. Another version of that I also love is this: wouldn't it be cool if? And then you can use this process of the 5 whys. And this was invented by the founder of Toyota. Use the 5 whys to get to your core passion or your core purpose. So, as an example, if your passion is to create a profitable business teaching others how to bake a cake, you'd ask why 5 times to uncover 5 levels of why. The first answer might be because you enjoy baking. The second answer, when you pull that string and ask, why do you enjoy baking, might be that you don't like quote unquote real jobs and you want to do something creative. And that third layer down, when you pull that string and ask, why do you enjoy the creativity so much, might have something to do with the time you spent with your grandmother creating wedding cakes for different people at the church. And boom, right there, you might realize that it isn't that you want to teach others how to bake a cake. It might be that you want to teach others how to bake wedding cakes. Or maybe you uncover that you want to teach grandmothers how to create memories with their granddaughters, and you realize how much that tugs at your heartstrings. When you reach that core why, whether you go down 5 layers or more, or even less, you'll feel it when you reach that core why. And this works when you're coming out of a bad relationship, or even looking for the ideal relationship and asking, when life is ideal, I am, or wouldn't it be cool if? So this technique can be used in all kinds of ways. When you go a couple of layers deep to find the right why, you can find the how. And in this process, you've just reignited a passion and found a little joy in the journey, just by listening to your intuition and what your soul is calling you to do, rather than listening to what the world has to say, or worse yet, what your ego has to say. All right, let's move on to number 2. No matter what anybody tells you, stay in your own damn lane. Excuse my French. We all have our own journey while we're here on this earth, and it was scripted before we even got here. It was planned, and it's supported by all our angels and guides and universal energies for things that we want to learn or overcome or accomplish while we're here. But when we allow someone else to drive in our lane, or worse yet, we jump the curb, cross the median, and find ourselves going down an entirely different freeway, boy, how quickly we can become derailed. Now, driving in our own lane is a fun metaphor, but what I'm really talking about here is not to respond and react to what anyone else is doing or not doing, saying or not saying. When we respond and react, especially in a negative way with negative emotions, that's a signal that we've jumped our lane and we need to realign back with our own journey and our own truth of who we are and what we're here to do. Our particular journey is designed to bring us immense joy, but we've got to drive in our own lane with our own intuition to uncover that joy and not be so concerned with what anybody else is doing. You know that little saying, that which doesn't kill us makes us stronger? I never have liked that, by the way, because I don't know about you, but it doesn't make me feel any better. This is one of my favorite quotes about life struggles, and I like it just a little bit better. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength that you'll need for tomorrow. So let's stay in our own lane and focus on our own journey and what we're here to discover and strengthen in ourselves. All right, let's move on to number 3. And that is free will is an illusion. We live on a free will planet. Yes versus no, right versus wrong, good versus evil, and our ego self versus our soul self. Every situation brings us to a crossroad, and every crossroad is an opportunity to choose fear or love, to choose to play small or to step up to a bigger, better game. Now, I'm going to get a little controversial here, and I just would ask that you hear these concepts and then choose for yourself what works for you in your life at this time. A lot of our free will is exercised before we even get here. That's why you'll sometimes hear me say that we scripted our life before we even came here. But many people believe that free will is something we exercise while we're here. And it can be. But at some point, we begin to ponder the idea that free will, as we know it, is an illusion. Not that it isn't real, because it is, but the illusion part is that there's a message underneath. And that message is asking us to see that free will is nothing more than a choice that's probably being made by our ego. In other words, free will can be a fear-based choice. Now, if you've ever known anyone who ran from a situation that was clearly going to bring them joy, that's the person who said to the universe, no, I'm exercising my free will and I'm choosing to go some other direction. And of course, they often wipe their brow later and say, boy, I was almost happy. Glad I escaped that. Now, you don't have to agree with me in this concept, not by any means. I'm presenting it for you to chew on and make up your own mind about it. But if this rings true for you, that free will is an illusion that's asking us to make a choice toward joy, even though our ego may tempt us in another direction, then take a moment to think back to a challenge or two that you've been through lately, big or small, and reflect on the choices you made. Were they made out of some sort of fear or frustration or some pain point? Or were they made because you wanted even more love and happiness and compassion and joy in your life? Free will can be the surprising road to bliss. It can also be the paved road to hell. It's our choice. For me, I've come to realize that free will is usually an illusion asking me to align with the good of the universe, which means aligning with joy. And this is why I say that free will is not our best friend, but it's a trigger that's asking us to choose joy. And this leads me to number 4 on my list. Your joy factor tells you whether you're on the right track. Are you feeling joy in your current situation? On a scale of 1 to 10, where does your joy factor in? In your current situation, is there any joy? And if so, where is it on that scale of 1 to 10? You know, we talked about passions a couple of minutes ago, and I just want to bring up that we have passion to the degree that we bring passion. We have passion to the degree that we bring passion. In other words, if we're always looking for something outside of ourselves to make us feel passionate, we're missing the point. The passion is already inside us. It's already there. So let's remember to always bring our passion to everything we do. And if we can't muster it up, then it might be time to assess what we're doing. So that's the first fundamental, to bring passion to everything we do. Now, another fundamental I've learned along the way is to always smile. That brings joy to our situation. Do you remember in the book Eat, Pray, Love, where Liz Gilbert was given the advice by her guru to smile down to her liver? The thing is, when we smile, that's a signal to the universe to bring good things to us. When we aren't smiling, the universe gets confused about what makes us happy. And hopefully this makes sense in how it relates to joy. When we can find joy in our journey, wherever we can find it, that's a signal to the universe to bring good things to us. And when we aren't smiling, the universe gets confused about what brings us joy. If we can't smile, if we aren't able to find joy in whatever we're engaged with, well, that's our clue for course correction. What was that song? It might have been by Melissa Etheridge. If he makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? But if you are smiling, if your situation is bringing you joy, well, by all means, don't mess it up by doing something stupid. Because remember, these positive emotions are energies. These positive energies are our hidden power. These positive emotions and energies are our hidden power because they signal the universe to bring us more. So, yes, keep track of what makes you smile. I call this our joy factor. It's a built in gauge on whether we're on the right track because we're looking for how much something is bringing us joy. If we're happy, then the universe is also happy, happy to bring us more. And last but not least, here's number 5, help somebody if you can. I don't know if you remember that song. Came out probably around 2010 or so. It was by Van Zant, and that was the title, Help Somebody If You Can. And in the lyrics, they said, don't get too high on the bottle, just a little sip now and then. Fight your fights, and find the grace in all the things that you can't change, and help somebody if you can. That's a great life lesson. No matter what kind of obstacles or challenges we have to overcome, we can, at the same time, maybe make a difference for someone else. We can't be everything to everybody, but we can be something to someone. And when you hear inspirational stories about somebody who overcame a significant challenge, don't you find that they often say that their life changed because somebody cared enough to listen to them and show them kindness? Yes, this says a lot about keeping the lines of communication open, keeping the conversation going. And if you can't see how to solve something or how to help someone or how to change a situation that you're in, start by asking. Just say, I don't know what to do here, and I'm afraid. The other person, they just might they just might step up to help you. But don't shut down, and especially don't shut down communication. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to help each other. We help others, they help us. It's in our DNA. Because when we get to the pearly gates, as they say, we won't remember entire days or weeks or years of our life. We'll remember moments. Those little moments where somebody hurt us and those little memories that meant everything to us. The big goals that we tried to accomplish or the big things we ran away from, they don't seem so big compared to these little moments along the way. So for this number 5, help somebody if you can and let them help you. I'd like you to think for a minute about how you can be an inspiration for someone else. Would it be through your actions, something you share? Would it be a question or something comforting that you say? You know, I'll never forget a man that I knew who owned a print shop, and his wife had passed away rather suddenly, leaving him feeling just lost. And he told me after she passed, everyone asked him these common open-ended questions like, are you doing okay? Or do you need anything? And he said that people who were in trouble or in deep need of someone to just listen would usually just give a default answer and say, I'm fine, or I'll be okay, because they don't want to be a burden. And he told me that interventions were actually more helpful. If someone just said, I'm coming over, Jim, I'm going to make a grocery list and pick up a few things for you. Or if the bridge club just showed up one day to give the garden a quick trim, he said that's what brought him the most comfort. Yeah, help somebody if you can. And he said, above all else, he suggested just listening, more listening and less on the platitudes. And I just loved that because platitudes, well, they kind of annoy me, quite frankly. But having a good listener is such a way of validating their feelings. Just a simple, what would you like to talk about? I'm here to listen. Opens the door to good feelings or bad. But here's my tip of the day. Always end off your conversation by asking, anything else? So that they can get everything out. Keep asking every time the conversation seems to be closing. Anything else? Even if it seems like they're done. Because once they get everything out, boy, all that's left is joy and relief because you just took their burden away. And when they feel joy, I'm willing to bet that you'll feel the joy too. Remember, life brings us obstacles. With the big ones, even with the small ones, our hearts might get beat up, our souls might become battered. But if we can find our way to just a little joy, whether it's choosing joyful thoughts, monitoring our joy factor, reigniting our passions, or helping to inspire somebody if we can, those big obstacles, they won't take such a toll on us, and we can more easily find joy in the journey. Our spiritual journey is to bring in the light, to choose higher frequency thought patterns and positive emotions, because our choice of frequency can change the course of our journey, and it just might change someone else's journey too. So, reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? For me, anything worthwhile can be hard, excruciatingly hard, and they can drain the joy right out of us. But if we approach our life's journey and all the obstacles that life brings, if we can approach life from our pleasure centers, curiosity, wonder, and a realization that significant dreams sometimes come with significant challenges, but it doesn't have to be hard. It can be easier if we look for the easier ways, if we look for the joy in our journey. Well, I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. But as always, if you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can send me questions right here to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Let me give you that again. Questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Or here's a freebie I have for you. This is a free guide if you'll simply visit unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Of course, if you're already right here on the podcast page and not listening through iTunes or one of the others, then you'll see it right there for you at the top of the right-hand column there. If you've ever thought to yourself, well, I need to get my life back, then you've probably suffered invalidation, abuse, or a spiritual injury. Knowing how to take back your life so you can find the joy again and just move forward, boy, it's the battle cry of anyone who's been through one of life's crushing setbacks. Fortunately, finding your way back to you is easier than it might seem. This new guide is the first step in getting out of the sheer frustration of being stuck and spinning your wheels on success that seems elusive. So thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with joy and all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and don't forget to grab your free guide at unlockyourhiddenpower.com.